got a busy show. We're going to get into topics, but first, a reminder of what the #1 sports book in all of America is, and that is obviously FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when they place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, on a simple $5 bet. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's literally no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is so easy to use. Even Jake can use it. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. That's, once again, FanDuel.com/UCSS. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL, an official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And maybe you guys can become the next Brian Abrams, who turned a $1.79 bet into a $303 payout with a 5-part parlay on NBA's opening night. He had Nurkic over 9.5 rebounds, over 11.5 points, over 2.5 assists. Michael Porter Jr. alternate rebounds, over 10.5, and a little baseball sprinkled in here. Brandon Paft with 7 or more strikeouts. That all hit. And he turned $1.79 into $303. If you want to be like Brandon, make sure you got make sure you guys head over to FanDuel.com.
Return. First of all, I didn't know you could bet $1.79.
That's where I was going with this, Bull. First of all, Brian, I'm glad you won. You need the money. If you're betting $1.79,
right? You think
that
you just
sounds
bet
like
$2.
sofa money.
Yeah, right.
You're shaking. I got to get this bet in. What do I have?
Yeah.
And you that's $1.79.
That's like 180 times his return. You know?
Yeah, but just round up to $2 and you got another $70.
Hey,
by the way,
it hits real quick because we got to get into quarterbacks.
Right.
PJ Walker starting. Deshaun is not, but Deshaun is going to speak to the media today.
Interesting.
Despite the fact he's not starting or playing. That's according to Mary Kay Cabot. We were going to talk about how we all think the Browns made the right choice to shut him down on Wednesday. And if you're not playing, you usually don't talk to the media.
This is fascinating.
Quick,
by the way,
what are you guys' thoughts on that?
The Browns spread on FanDuel went over that big number from 3 to 3.5, which is always a big thing when you move a line from 3 to 3.5.
It is.
A lot of games end as 3-point games. I think it's fascinating that Deshaun Watson is speaking. This goes to a conversation that G and I got into a feisty conversation off the air about Deshaun Watson. He thinks there's some nefarious things going on in play behind the scenes.
Do you want to start with that? Because I think it's pretty interesting. Your theory. I'm with Bull. I don't buy your theory, but your theory is an interesting one.
So let me go ahead and just give you the background. So basically, you know me, I'm a comment section guy. And, I wanted to try to feel the temperature. That's one of the things I try to do. Like, I'm out in the street a lot. I'm out and about. And people come up to me and talk, and either I'm going to restaurants, people talk, but I check out not just our comment section, but the comment section for, the most popular Brown sites. Quincy Carey is very popular. You got Cleveland.com, Mary Kay, and those guys over there as well. So I digest a lot of Browns content, including my own, barbershop content. So when I'm looking at the comment section and I'm on Twitter and I'm just trying to gather the temperature in the room, I've seen a drastic flip. Usually in the beginning of the season when he was playing, even if he was playing poorly, there was not the calls for this is the worst trade of all time. Browns got fleeced. And on top of it, the vitriol is different. The vitriol now, you see more and more sexual assault jokes. You see more and more people, and people putting their name next to it. You've also started to see more and more local media, national media, second guessing the move, more of the national media. And obviously, we had the crescendo with Brady Quinn. And I think what's happening is the narrative and the miscommunication of whether he's going to play in a day-to-day situation is killing his character, how people perceive him, because people are now saying and questioning whether he's hurt anyway. So when you keep saying day to day, they've already said that he was cleared to play, right? So that's already in somebody's mind. 2, the general manager said he was supposed to be playing way earlier than he is now. So now in their mind, they're thinking, well, how hurt can this guy be? Everyone's saying he's not hurt, and then he takes a little hit like that, and now he's hurt again. So if people are saying if he was hurt that bad this last time, Why are they not just shutting him down? Why is he day to day? And my theory is this. If you shut Deshaun Watson down for the rest of the season, what is the focus now squarely on? Squarely on the head coach.
I think it's still squarely on him.
And squarely on the shoulders of the GM. Because now there is no Deshaun Watson to distract the media. All you have is PJ Walker. Is your team playing well? Are you winning games? And second guessing. Why did you have him out there? Why didn't you get another quarterback? What's going on with the offense? Now, those things you can't hide from that. That's just on your shoulders.
But G, what I'm looking at now is the general manager rolled us into the season woefully underprepared.
Yes.
That's on him.
Yes.
And he is not escaping that.
Well, and I think
for us, we are informed. We are informed of what was happening. For the
I think the general fan, look, when Watson wasn't available and they put a quarterback out there who had never played in the NFL before, fans quickly found out, oh, this isn't going to work. And then when they went to PJ Walker, we're also saying, this isn't going to work. You don't have to be informed.
Yeah.
Just watch the games and see who they're putting out on the field.
But I think right now the onus is not on the fact that they didn't go get another quarterback.
It is for me.
The onus of the population, as I've been watching it, and the common fan, is saying that Deshaun Watson got $230 million and does not want to play. But that is a majority.
Listen, you're looking at a lot more stuff than I am. Remember, there's a lot of people that love the Browns that are not on social media, that are not tweeting.
Real quick.
The vast majority of Americans are not on social media.
Mike Florio put out an article this morning exactly with what G's saying. And he said it's all speculation, but Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk put out an article exactly with what G said this morning.
Did he really? I didn't see it.
What was he saying? That
exactly what G just said. That he doesn't
was
believe,
specifically saying that there's speculation Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play?
I'll get you the headline, but essentially he said there's something fishy going on in Cleveland.
Okay, so here's the thing. The bottom line is that stuff is all irrelevant. All that matters is what Jimmy Haslam thinks. Now, Jimmy Haslam is a lunatic, right? So we don't know what he's thinking. All I know is any relatively intelligent person is like Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry may be many things that you like or don't like. They're not idiots. Purposely throwing your quarterback under the bus because you think that's going to save your job, to me, is stupid.
Well, if you remember,
why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense.
There was all kinds of that similar speculation, and I know you guys remember it. There was a fan conspiracy theory that in the Steelers game, Baker's last year, they left him unprotected with no tight end to chip, and he got sacked 9 times. And a lot of fans were like, hey, you made nothing. You made no adjustment. You put that guy out there to get him hurt so you can be done with him. A lot of fans believe that.
I believe a lot with Baker Mayfield is true.
If either of these are true, and there's no way of knowing unless you would give them truth serum and they would say, yeah, we left Baker on an island on purpose. I can't fathom that they would do that because, to your point, they're not idiots.
That doesn't benefit you.
Now, when I was watching in real time, I'm yelling at the screen saying, are they idiots? Why are they not giving him help? What was it, Hudson that was on that
Hudson
side?
Was getting destroyed.
And he just play after play after play, and 9 times.
Because you got to think about it. When they were here with Baker Mayfield, they had made in their minds that they didn't want to give him the money that he wanted. They were apart on the number from the previous year.
Okay, you don't have to put him out there to get killed to get there.
So here's how it went down. They decided, hey, we want our own quarterback. It's kind of hard to get your own quarterback if the quarterback you have right now is beloved.
You're right.
Affordable,
but if
they're playing well.
Bull, I get what you're saying, but I can't allow my brain. and here's why. Maybe it's because this is the team I love.
Okay.
I mean, you guys probably don't even know how much I love this team. People think that I love to come up here and throw darts. I don't. That's my job.
Yeah.
And I have to at least say what I see.
Mm-hmm.
If that is true, we're worse than I ever imagined. If you have a sabotage, an internal sabotage,
guys,
I just can't believe that.
We have reached a point in our society where anybody says anything and we can just pretend it's true.
It gets legs.
Right?
Yeah. Now, Florio's different.
But I'm not even talking about sports. Look at society. Look at politics.
You're right. Everybody with a Twitter handle suddenly has a voice.
Everybody throws out all kinds of nonsense, and it takes on a life of its own.
It can.
Anything is possible. Anything is. Yeah, of course there could be.
I've lived in this. I've lived in a brown sphere. Let's think about in the brown sphere things that you thought was crazy that would have never happened, but you found out was true. How's about somebody getting on the cell phone and calling and say put Johnny Manziel in the game? That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
ludicrous.
You're right.
How's about Jimmy Haslam picking like his quarterback almost basically by any, mini, miny, mo?
Or as legend has it, a homeless person.
Yes.
Well, that's not true.
Or
I mean, actually, I don't know if that's not true.
We don't know
that it's true or not true.
A head coach gave a PowerPoint about why he hated your organization so much to let him out of the contract. That's crazy. Like that never, they had a...
But you are right.
There are crazy things with the Browns. Those things, at least in theory, could benefit the person, right?
But here's what I'm saying. At that time, you got to think about it. When they had Baker Mayfield, when you say benefit them, their benefit was we want our quarterback.
We're now doing what we get mad at other people for. We're throwing out stuff with no facts to back it up. There is no proof, no facts whatsoever. So we got mad at Brady Quinn, deservedly so, for throwing out nonsense.
That's
without
why I'm
knowing
interested.
And then we're essentially doing the same thing.
I'm interested though to hear what the report.
How does this?
What did the report say from today?
Go ahead, go start.
No, listen, Florio. It was
Florio
not,
is.
He did not. This is not even a report. The article is titled "Strange Vibes Continue Between Browns and Deshaun Watson." He essentially put into words G's conspiracy without facts. He was just pointing out things that he thought were fishy. There's no sources. It's just Mike Florio. It's more of a
now. A lot of
than
times,
a
what Mike does is he gets whispers on stories, and he can't necessarily say a source because then everybody in Cleveland is looking around like who's the mole. So a lot of times he'll talk to a lot of people and he'll develop his opinion. I do think that sometimes his opinions, his straight opinion, which that is rooted in some kind of whisper within the organization.
How would benefit Kevin Stefanski?
That's my point.
I will tell you.
Because Baker Mayfield, you want him to be gone. You want the fans to turn on him.
I don't
if
buy
the fans
that
turn on
either.
Deshaun Watson, they're still tied to him for 4 more years.
No. But here's the thing: if they turn on Deshaun Watson, that's the collateral damage. What Stefanski is doing is saying, look, Deshaun Watson is hurt. We couldn't even put a game plan in because he's day to day. From day to day, we didn't know what he was going to do, where he was going to be at.
Right.
We lost Nick Chubb. So look, hey, we've been through the most, and look where we're at. We're 4-2. We got P.J. Walker at the helm. Guess what? He uses that so that now it gives you more time. If you get pulled in the office and your manager says, "Tell me why I should keep you," if they don't make the playoffs. And here's my thing: if they keep P.J. Walker at quarterback, they're not going to make the playoffs. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but Bull accurately made the point early on. No excuses this year. None.
Listen, we don't know what
Teams
Jimmy
lose
Haslam's going
quarterbacks.
to do.
Hey.
All I know is if I were the owner of the Browns, if you don't make the playoffs, you're getting fired. I got to find somebody else. That's it.
So guess what?
So throwing your if they're throwing the quarterback under the bus, Jimmy Haslam would know about it. The teammates would know about it if they were purposely doing that. And that would set a terrible precedent within the organization, and there's no way that would help me.
No one would ever want to play here.
Let me ask you, and sometimes you can be incompetent to a point where you don't even know what you're doing. You inadvertently put him in a bad situation. Go back to when he was talking during the suspension time. How many times did y'all sit up here and say, why is Deshaun talking? Why don't they have a PR guy?
Right.
Why aren't they doing that? What's going on with that? That was one strike. When you developing somebody's narrative, and first of all, he's a guy we didn't draft. So you know that the fans are going to be apprehensive to latch on. You got to have imaging and messaging ready to go. They didn't have it last year. This year turns around. And instead of having the imaging and messaging in place, you string this along and people think, generally speaking, that there's nothing wrong with him. Because you keep saying inadvertently, there's nothing wrong with him.
Though there is one control in this experiment, and that is his play. Because
Right.
he has played 4 games.
Yep.
3 games this year.
Parts
of 4.
Yeah,
Part of a 4th.
Played 3 games.
Yeah.
And not boding well for the general manager is that this guy has not been the savior that you told us he was going to be. Mm-hmm. And you told us that because of what you gave up.
Yep.
You gave up the 230. You gave up the 3 number 1 draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's an all-in trade. That means that's a Super Bowl trade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make a trade like that to make the playoffs. You just made the playoffs 1 year earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is a trade to win it all. The fans are looking at his body of work, and we've seen enough to know that ain't getting us to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately we can't fire Deshaun. Who the hell made this move? And that puts him squarely in the crosshairs.
And that is the reason they are so concrete on not shutting him down. They won't even mention him sitting out games because they need him to perform in order.
But he doesn't want to be shut down either, G. And players have always had that power. It's not a Browns thing.
No. Players don't got that power.
Yes, they do.
Really?
Come on, quarterbacks
Baker
don't have
did.
the power.
Baker did.
Listen, here's what I'm saying. And Kevin Stefanski said, you know what? If you want to keep playing, we're gonna sit you on that sideline.
But there was a game earlier where he said Deshaun wants to play, but we're not, or no, I'm sorry, he was cleared, allegedly cleared.
That cleared. Right?
And Deshaun said he couldn't play. So, guys, the messaging on this is
been terrible.
All over. And I can understand
Yeah.
why Florio and others in the media and even fans can be looking at this saying, what in the hell is going on in Cleveland?
Why? And maybe they have, but I don't know why. And I actually had Mary Kay on my podcast today. That'll be out today. But I didn't ask her this question specifically, and I should have. Why? Like, has anybody asked Kevin Stefanski what has happened here? Why is the messaging been so off?
Yeah, now he's so buttoned up.
Listen, anything's
he doesn't
possible.
say anything.
It's possible. You're right. I mean, but we could come up with a theory like this on everything, and I just feel like
I remember.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's go to another sport. Mikey, you can attest to this. Go back to the San Antonio Spurs when they're at the end of their dynasty. They had Parker Ginobili, still had Tim Duncan, and the guy that they were pushing in the spotlight at that time was Kawhi Leonard. He became their best player, de facto player. Tony Parker and the rest of those guys were counting on him to carry the load. They were coming to him saying, hey, you're injured. Okay, cool, but we need you to get you back. We need you to get you back. The organization never said that it was as serious as it was, so his teammates kept being on him. Hey, man, what you doing? You leaving us behind, blah, blah, blah. Kawhi Leonard didn't say anything, right? He goes out and he's sitting out. He goes to New York to get all this, check. They find out they misdiagnosed him or whatever the case may be. And he says, I'm never, ever, ever playing for the Spurs again, right? Because he felt like they pressured him to come back and play when he was not ready to play. So my thought process is this. It happens in all kind of different sports, right? If Deshaun Watson, listen to what he's saying. He said, are you going to play on this Sunday? He said, I don't know. But if you ask his coaches and the GM the same thing, they've been saying yes since Jump Street.
That is true.
So when people say, well, guess what? I'm not playing, they're not looking at them. They're looking squarely at you.
That's why I called it yesterday. I called it InfoWars.
Right.
It feels now, and I can understand why Florio's come to this conclusion because I did yesterday. I said it feels now like it's your information versus the team's information. And to your point, all of the breadcrumbs that the organization has dropped have led us to think, not that bad, he's going to be out there.
Well, they ruled him out yesterday, so
now
that's not in that
They
vein.
did,
Yeah.
definitively ruled him out. However, we're 4 games into this mess.
Well, they
So
ruled him
where
out early against the Niners, too. On Wednesday.
Yeah. Initially, 10 days before the game, the general manager stood in front of the media and said he's going to play.
He did.
So, again, messaging from the team is not that serious. Day to day, to me, means
crazy.
by Saturday you could be good.
That's
week
crazy.
to week is completely different.
Didn't Stefanski, when he was asked about it after the game, say he will be the starter if he's healthy?
He
That part's
circled
being
back.
left out.
He circled back, and they cleared that up with Mary Kay cleared that up earlier this week.
Yeah.
Because the quote that I heard was him saying, "Yeah, he's going to be he should be good to go. We expect him to play."
Yeah.
Or no, he's my starting quarterback.
But obviously,
then he came back around later and said, obviously if he's healthy, he's my starting quarterback.
And then the next thing he said this week was he's out.
So, Bull,
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Yes, it's been mixed. Initially, on the day after the game, it was He's day to day. We're gonna take a look. This is a wait and see. Then we hear that he's practicing Friday. This was before the Baltimore game, and we thought, wow, he must be good. Now, the only confusing thing to me about all of your theory is Deshaun himself did no favors for himself when he told Mary Kay Cabot on Friday before the Ravens game, I expect to play.
He's the one who hurt himself there.
He did.
100%.
But there was already damage done. He may have been, this is part of the theory, he may have been saying, well, hell, my coach and my general manager expected me to play. I got to be an Iron Man and I got to play.
What are you going to say against that? Like you got to, if you take it in a vacuum, it don't really make sense. But take the totality of it. You're a guy who came in here under the most controversy in the league. So when you immediately step in here, you now have to have indoctrinate and ingratiate yourself to a new fan base, a new media base. You also have not played in 2 years, which means that you could come back and not play well, and we want you to play well. So you're not playing well, you're not getting the benefit of it out there.
Right.
And on top of that, you're in a locker room with people. Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett, he was drafted here. Denzel Ward, drafted here. Right. Joe Bitonio, those are the real leaders because they've been here in that organization. So what you're trying to do, you may have that C on your chest and but what you're doing is you're trying to prove yourself to the other 53 men in there.
What's weird is the game he was injured is the game he started to win over teammates and fans and media.
Thank you. Yeah. And he didn't want to give that capital back. He said, listen, I'm just starting to get in here. I'm just starting to, people is showing, I'm showing them what I can be. Team is following me. And so when you tell me, all right, now I got to burn all of that goodwill because I'm out. No, I'm going to play as quick as I can because I still want that feeling. I need to get out there and prove myself. And the thing that got Baker hurt wasn't the fact that it was the money. It was proving himself. He had to prove that he was worth what he thought he was. And when you got something to prove, bull, you're going to go through a wall.
But the bottom line is, all that matters really is not what the fans think, is what his teammates think, what his coach thinks, what the owner thinks. I mean, that's it. But he's got his money in terms of, and that's the same thing for Stefanski. What the fans think of Stefanski is irrelevant. All that matters is what the players think, what the owner thinks. That's it.
I love what you just said that. On our morning call, McNugget said, Browns defense, at what point in time when you got P.J. Walker out there, does that become something where it becomes infuriating because you got to play damn near perfect in order to win football games?
I think we've
reached that point.
And guess
we've
what?
reached that point.
And when you as a defensive player start looking at my effort being wasted and I got P.J. sitting there, but I got Deshaun Watson sitting right here, we say, if we could get just something.
You could see why there'd be animus.
Just a couple
particularly because there is some messaging that makes them and media and fans think that he's day-to-day.
And in the end,
you're not day-to-day with this injury. You're 4 to 8 weeks with this injury.
In the end, we all agree that the Browns have botched this whole situation as an organization.
They have.
I just don't agree that Stefanski and Berry did it on purpose. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go that. Yeah. I think that's a bridge too far for me, too.
Only because I don't see how you see a benefit. I guess we'll find out, because if it goes south from here and they don't make the playoffs and those guys don't get fired, well, then maybe it did benefit them. But
if they were told from a doctor that looked at the MRI, and this is where I think everything came off the tracks early. And I can understand why it would be misdiagnosed. Perhaps there was swelling and they didn't see the micro tear. But the problem here is if they were operating under one set of facts, I could see why they would be putting both internal and external pressure on Deshaun to get out there because they've got a doctor telling them it ain't that bad. So I can see why they might be saying things, even subconsciously, to the media. Oh, yeah, we expect, in 10 days from now against San Francisco, we expect he's going to go. Because maybe that's what they were hearing from the doctor. And as we got further and further along, and then we finally, 2.5 weeks later, we hear the words micro tear.
Right.
And remember,
that took a long time for them to tell us that.
The first thing we heard, no structural damage.
That's right. So when players hear that, they know situations that they've been in. Hell, Joel Bitonio had surgery and was on the field less than 14 days after surgery.
That's another thing.
So you hear that stuff, and guys know, wait, no structural damage. Let's go, bro. This is the NFL. Get the hell out here. We need you.
The whole thing is very confusing.
It is. You're right. And for that, we can blame the Browns.